Welcome everyone to a very spooky edition of Let's Play with Mysterious JG. I'm Mysterious JG, folks, and I am continuing my tradition started from last year of doing a late Halloween LP, mostly because, people like Bobo the Vulture, Zerfall, and even Grimmeth did something for Halloween and made me think after Halloween had already passed, oh, I should have done something for Halloween. Yeah, a little late for that. Last year I did Let's Play Castlevania in 3 videos and resorted to a lot of save state abuse against Dracula, mostly because, uh, as I mentioned in those videos, I had a work meeting that I'd kind of forgotten. I was like, oh shit, I need to end this because I was at Dracula. And I was like, I don't want to have to go through all this again, so I just sort of, cheated. And I promised I wouldn't do that whenever I got around to playing Simon's Quest. Well, I didn't promise when I would play Simon's Quest. And I was thinking about playing Simon's Quest for Halloween this year, except I forgot all about it because guess what? I'm on a business trip. And while I brought up, a set of headphones with me just in case I could get some use out of them, I did not bring a controller for playing the old school NES style video games, and I really don't feel like playing that game on a laptop keyboard. So instead, you guys are going to get what I think will actually be a better LP, at least as far as you see a lot fewer LPs of this. Even if it is a text game, it makes it a great LP for you to listen to. Perhaps while you're driving through a wooded area after dark and you're feeling kind of scared and alone, or in any kind of dark area lit by candlelight. Just it's an LP you want to listen to someplace where you don't feel safe, because this is an LP of 1987 Infocom, The Lurking Horror, an interactive horror. This game apparently had sound effects in some versions. I played this game many years ago as part of the Lost Treasures of Infocom, which is why I feel no guilt about the fact that I had to go online and find PDF scans of the game materials, because this game has built-in copyright protection, and I don't feel like it was a bad thing at all for me to cheat there, because in theory, somewhere in an attic, I should have the copyright protection for this. I just couldn't dig it out. So we're going to go ahead and play the game now. With no further ado, I will go ahead and get started on this Infocom terror text adventure. You've waited until the last minute again. This time it's the end of the term, so all the Tech terminals in the dorm are occupied. I'm not going to use this voice the entire time, folks. Even though that would be spooky, just like Spooky Golf, or whatever the hell that game was called. Sorry, There are other LPs of this game out there. I don't want to drive people to go to those, so let me straighten up and fly right here. Stop goofing off quite so much. You've waited until the last minute again. This time it's the end of the term, so all the TechNet terminals in the dorm are occupied. So off you go to the old comp center. Too bad it's the worst storm of the winter, Murphy's Law, right? And you practically froze to death slogging over here from the dorm. Not to mention jumping at every shadow. What with all the recent disappearances? Time to find a free machine, get to work, and write that 20-page paper. Already the game is showing its age a little bit. I really liked this game. I enjoyed it. I was not yet in college the first time I played it, but I did feel a little bit, as a college student, I can kind of understand that whole feeling that, yeah, they had computer terminals in my dorm, but just a very small little computer area in my dorm building with maybe 6 desktops and always occupied in peak time, so you would have to head all the way across campus to the bigger main computer area. And I went to school at a college where it was really cold and snowy during the winter. So yes, this it really does hit home for me. But I would think nowadays, modern college students, I would imagine that you've got Wi-Fi in all the dorms. I don't really know how that works for sure, but by the end of my term, I had set things up so that I could do a lot of computer stuff from my own dorm room, but certainly not Wi-Fi, not when I was in school. All right, back to it here. Terminal room. This is a large room crammed with computer terminals, small computers, and printers. An exit leads south. Banners, posters, and signs festoon the walls. Most of the tables are covered with waste paper, old pizza boxes, and empty Coke cans. There are usually a lot of people here, but tonight it's almost deserted. A really whiz-bang PC is right inside the door. And I have the wrong program selected, so I can't advance. Nearby is one of those ugly molded plastic chairs. Sitting in a terminal is a hacker whom you recognize. Hacker. Hello. Greeting edge. He turns back to his hacking. Look at Hacker. The hacker sits comfortably on an office chair facing a terminal table, or perhaps it's just a pile of old listings as tall as a terminal table. He is typing madly, using just 2 fingers, but achieves speeds that typists using all 10 fingers only dream of. Typists who have 10 fingers don't generally get thumbs. That would be too much. He is apparently debugging a large assembly language program as the screen of his terminal looks like a spray of completely random characters. The hacker is dressed in blue jeans, an old work shirt, and what might once have been running shoes. Hanging from his belt is an enormous ring of keys. He is in need of a bath. The keys are going to be important. Smell hacker. Either the hacker, his clothing, or in both are in need of a cleaning. Hacker? Give me keys. Well, I can't give you my keys. I need them. He fondles his keyring proudly. Ask about keys. I've accumulated a few keys over the years. I'm a licensed locksmith, which helps. I can get into any room at the tech. He pulls the keyring out on its chain and shows off a key you hadn't noticed before. This is a master key, he says. The hacker turns to you and says, I don't know where I can get something to eat, what with all the snow. That's going to be important too. But meanwhile, there was a chair and a computer, and we're here to write our term paper. So let's sit in chair. You're now sitting in the chair. Turn on computer. The computer powers up and goes through a remarkably fast self-check and greets you, requesting a login, please. Yeah, remarkably fast self-check back then would feel like an eternity now. The only sound you hear is a very low hum. The hacker turns to you and says, I'd hate to leave with the machine so empty. On the other hand, I'm seriously starving. They're just basically telling you he wants food. So the computer login is you can see now, poorly framed because I didn't really make a point of framing this on my screen with the recording window. But I'm going through some of the manual, and you get a student ID card, which is where you get... See, now this to me is a puzzle, even if you... This isn't copy protection, this is a puzzle. Like that this number from the student ID card is what you need, I guess that makes sense. Well, I mean, it does make sense. It just seems like something that you wouldn't necessarily figure out right away. It's a little bit more challenging than copy protection should have been. But our student ID is 87232. Type 87232 5412. And honestly, I don't know exactly what happens if you try to play the game without logging onto the computer. It's not immediately obvious to me what will... Oh, no, I know what. Never mind. I actually do know what. You can play through a big chunk of the game. You can't actually win the game without using the computer at least once. Seems like you could probably get quite a bit of the game done, but you wouldn't be able to win. So the computer responds, password, please. Our password comes from further up here. Handwritten notes in the directory. Password... Ulersoth. Sounds like some kind of Ulex soft drink. So had we done anything else, we would have gotten a message saying invalid login, retry. The computer responds, good evening. You're here awfully late. It displays a list of pending tasks, one of which is in blinking red letters with large arrows pointing to it. The task reads classics paper, and some particularly ominous words next to it say due tomorrow, and more reassuringly a menu box next to that reads edit classics paper. 20 pages is an awful lot to have to write in one night. I mean, I've certainly done it. But I mean, if it's already late at night and he's just now starting, this is going to be an all-nighter for sure. The hacker turns to you and says, why don't you see if you can cons up some food, then I might be able to do something for you. See, now I played off screen through most of the game to make sure I could still do it, and to be quite honest with you, to use online hints when I was completely stuck and didn't even know where to go. I got most of the way through the game and decided to start recording because this game, like a lot of Infocom games, has built-in time restrictions. In Enchanter, you need to you can get an infinite amount of water with the jug. Excuse me, but there's no way to get more food other than the large loaf of bread you find. and you need to win the game before you get hungry and eat bread enough times that you get hungry again after running out of bread. You'll starve to death. In this game, as you will see, falling asleep is fatal. Like at any point, there's no safe place to sleep. I mean, it's the lurking horror. You can kind of guess that what kind of stuff the game is going to be about here, and going to sleep is death. Also, the game, like a lot of Infocom games, features dark rooms where you need a light source. And in this game, we are going to find a light source that runs on batteries. The batteries run out and cannot be replaced. So if you overuse, well, it's a flashlight. Why am I trying to pretend otherwise? There's a flashlight we're going to find eventually, and if it runs out of batteries, your game's over. Because you can't actually win the game without going into these darkened rooms, and I believe the end game takes place in a darkened area. So playing around off screen, I was moving towards what I believe was the final section of the game when my flashlight burned out. So that's when I decided I gotten far enough that I could start recording, and if we get stuck later, we'll be able to deal with it. Anyway. So the hack, but what I was getting at there was when I was playing earlier, I don't think the hacker dropped anywhere near this many clues about what he wants. He wants food. He wants food in exchange for that master key. So we're going to need to do something with that. Anyway, click box on the computer. The menu box is replaced by the Yak text editor, and menu boxes, it's the Yak text editor, the thing Infocom spent all their money on and went bankrupt, I'm not sure. And menu boxes listing the titles of your files. The one for your paper is highlighted in a rather urgent looking shade of red. Click paper. You click the box for your paper, and the box grows reassuringly until it fills most of the screen. Unfortunately, the text that fills it bears no resemblance to your paper. The title is the same, but after that, there is something different. Very different. Read paper. The paper appears to be a facsimile overlaid with occasional typescript. The text is mostly in a sort of Old English you've never seen before. What you read is a combination of incomprehensible gibberish, Latinate pseudo-words, debased Hebrew and Arabic scripts, and an occasional disquieting phrase in English. As you look at it more closely, you find it hard to focus on the screen, but impossible to look away. Oh, this is not a good sign. Your finger strays towards the More box. Click More. The second page is much like the first, but around the edges, not when you look at it straight, it's almost readable. There's something about a summoning or a visitor. The summoning is complete. Yeah, so when you don't look directly at the text, it begins to make sense to you. Excellent. We're going to click More. Again, we're going to click More by typing in again, which repeats your previous command in this game. You touch the More box and a new page appears. The third page is in the same script as the first, but laid out like a poem. There are woodcut illustrations which are queasily disturbing. I'd like to look at the illustrations, but let's keep reading. There is a translation, or notes for one, typed between the lines of the poem. He returns. He is called back. The loyal ones, acolytes, make a sacrifice. Those who survive will meet him, be absorbed, eaten. They will live, yet die. Forever will be, is, nothing to them. To him, his place, lair, burrow, must be prepared. His food, offerings, must be prepared. Call him forth, invite him with great power. Only an acceptable, tasteful sacrifice will call him forth. He will be grateful. Satiated? The rest is even more fragmentary. So the game's getting right to the point here. We're not really dancing around the fact that there's something bad happening. I don't think there's any point at this where we type in a command and we just get back "it hurts" without any capital letters, but it's the same feel. Look at illustrations. I don't think this will do anything, actually. I don't know the word illustrations. Okay, so sometimes they use words in the text that they don't actually program into the game to understand. Click More. You touch the More box and a new page appears. The fourth page is a photograph. You try to recoil from the screen, but cannot. Fascinated and repelled at the same time, you wonder, is that a mouth? And what is in it? Again. You touch the More box and a new page appears. You faint, and when you awaken, place. This is a place. Things move about on on a rocking surface. Harsh sounds split the air. Something sticky grabs at your feet. There is no color. Everything is drained of brightness, dull and lifeless. A path descends into a shallow bowl of black basalt. Down. Basalt bowl. You are at the bottom of a deeply cut, smooth basalt bowl. Dimly seen shapes crowd you on all sides. Sorry, folks. Ahead, in the focus of the movement, is a rock platform. Approach platform. At platform. You stand before a low rock platform, more like an afterthought of piled rocks or a glacial moraine than a work of artifice. You are pushed against the pile by the crowd around you. One small stone stands out in the pile, smooth, shiny, and glowing with a blazing light. Get stone. Taken. Suddenly, the dimness becomes darkness, and the crowd around you explodes with excitement. You are jostled and shoved from all sides. A low keening begins, building into a deafening, almost mechanical chant. The darkness before you compacts and deepens. Look at stone. I don't know the word lock. Oops, look. That's something I learned about from the manual. You can type oops, and then if it just told you I do not know the word whatever, you can substitute in a new word. It's a smooth, shiny piece of what might be obsidian. Scratched on it is a symbol. The darkness before you, now visible, is a creature. It towers over the now silent crowd. The thing jerks this way and that, spraying a foul ichor. Its palps twitch expectantly, then pound impatiently against the rock. You can feel the smooth stone vibrating in your hand. Look at symbol. The symbol, on close examination, appears to have been carved into the smooth stone, perhaps with a claw. The symbol is like nothing you've ever seen, and yet somehow you know it has meaning. The thing now turns, sensing the presence of the stone. It quests almost blindly for it, then those surrounding you thrust you forward. The thing stoops, its mandibles grasping you. You are lifted towards its gaping maw. The stench and the sounds issuing from it are overwhelming, and you fall unconscious. You are awakened by the thump of your head hitting the terminal in front of you. Falling asleep over the term papers, it must have been a nightmare. Embarrassed, you glance around. Yes, the hacker is looking in your direction. He must have heard the thump. Terminal room, on the chair. A really whiz-bang PC is right inside the door. Sitting at the terminal is a hacker whom you recognize. Hacker, help. Be patient. The hacker wanders over, trying to look nonchalant as he takes over your chair. That's what I was hoping he would do. Losing, huh? He asks wittily. He glances at your terminal, which displays a pattern of snow and unusual characters. He appears somewhat excited. Wait. The hacker, mumbling under his breath, begins a flurry of activity. First the screen returns to something nearly normal, then windows begin popping up like toadstools after a rain. The screen looks a lot like the top of his terminal table, or the bottom of a trash can. Look at hacker terminal, see what he was doing. We can't. Time passes. The hacker types furiously, and the screen displays what to you looks like an explosion in a teletype factory. After a while, he says, chomping file system. Your directory has gone seriously west. I fixed it. He checks the screen. I guess I should be giving him a nerd voice. It's a little late now. He's almost out of dialogue. It was mixed up on the file server with some files from the Department of Alchemy, he grunts. People's names for their nodes are getting weird. This one is called Lovecraft. He pauses. Your paper is gone, though. Sorry. Maybe they could help you down there. So, apparently, this university we're going to... What is it actually called? The, George Underwood Edwards Institute of Technology. GUE. Tech. That's the so it's George Underwood Edwards, but the cute thing is that means that it's GUE, which is GUE Tech is the school from the Zork series. But apparently this is a game that's supposed to be set in the modern day, but it has an alchemy department, guys. All right, so look. And we get the description of the room again, the pizza boxes, Coke cans, whatnot. The hacker the nearby is one of those ugly molded plastic chairs. Sitting on the chair is a hacker. A really whiz-bang PC is right inside the door. The hacker wanders back to his terminal and returns to his hacking. He's a side hacker, folks. I was just trying to look for which way the exit is. And an exit leads south. South, second floor. This is the second floor of the computer center. Oh, you know what we could do? Go north. Sit at chair. That would be a waste of time. Sit on chair. You're not sitting in the chair. Type paper. Nothing interesting happens except that a yellow smiling face appears in a small box next to the legend. Sorry, syntax error. Hope you have a nice day. Click box. Click paper. You click the box for your paper. Nothing happens. Your paper is lost, reminds the hacker. So what it's basically saying is, I don't think there's a way to type assignment. I don't think there's a way to... There's no way to actually type your term paper and ignore the fact that you had a Cthulhu dream. So the Cthulhu dream is kind of going to take over the story. Oh, and according to the manual, the backstory for this whole game is that students have been disappearing mysteriously. So there you go. Actually, there's a few things I could probably check out on the manual. This is one of those games, because this won't be a particularly long LP, so I'm not going to bother to do this huge read-through of the entire manual like I did on a couple of games where they had the old-school awesome manuals. But there are a few little things that we should get across. I mean, there's all sorts of background material that really isn't that relevant, but like there's fun stuff here. Slug stomping. Watch for the first slug of the year and stomp on them as a school tradition at this place. Final scream. At a designated time during final exam week, everyone screams in unison. You know, that's kind of normal college stuff. You have some ZUE tech jargon. One of them is hack, a prank. Painting the dean's house pink was a great hack. So that's not really that useful to us. But what is useful is we'll see urchin eventually. Urchin, noun, a local child or teenager who hangs around campus and often causes object of value to mysteriously disappear. So we will be seeing urchins. Urchins are basically like local kids, junior high and high schoolers. When you're in college, and you're presumably in college out of town, there is this kind of thing. At least there was for me. And it wasn't too bad because the campus was pretty big and self-contained. But you know, there is this kind of sense when you travel around outside the campus, and the local kids do sometimes sort of resent the out-of-towner college kids, and the college kids sometimes do look down on the out-of-towner kids. And these are out-of-towner kids who are a bit younger. So there you go. I don't know why I threw that one out there now. That's urchins. We'll come across that eventually. But now we're on the second floor, which I don't really think I described before. This is the second floor of the computer center. An elevator and call buttons are on the south side of the building. A large, noisy room is to the north. Stairs also lead up and down for the energetic. To the west, a corridor leads into a small room. West. Kitchen. In the kitchen. This is a filthy kitchen. The exit is to the east. On the wall near a counter are a refrigerator and a microwave. Sitting on the kitchen counter is a package of Funny Bones. Look at package. It's a package of Funny Bones, a snack food made with peanut butter and chocolate cake. Get package. Taken. Open fridge. Opening the refrigerator reveals a 2-liter bottle of classic Coke and a cardboard carton. Get all. Close fridge. We don't want to leave that open. Closed. Open. Oh, well. Oh, so now we've got a cardboard carton. What do you think's in the cardboard carton, guys? I've played past this point, but I knew. What do you think it is? Cardboard carton in a refrigerator. Look at carton. This is a cardboard carton with an incomprehensible symbol scrawled on the top. Open carton. Opening the carton reveals Chinese food. Of course it does. This is a game that will let you screw yourself and not tell you, don't eat the Chinese food. That's for the hacker. The hacker has been complaining that he's hungry. Give hacker food. Which food do you mean? The Chinese food or the package of Funny Bones? Package. Hey, thanks. He stuffs it down in no time. I could really do with some Chinese food, though. Well, the funny bones are not useful. They are not needed to win the game. I'm not really sure what the point of them is. Part of me wishes we'd eaten them. Save. Save on slot 1. Restart. Scores 5 out of possible 100. Graded on a curve. You are the right class of freshman. Do you wish to restart? Yes. Let's go to the kitchen right away. Get package. Eat funny bones. You tear open the package and devour delicious food-like substance. Restore. Okay. I thought there would have been more humor to that. No, the funny bones are just kind of useless. Give food to hacker. Yuck, this is cold. He thrusts it back into your hands. South. North. Ask hacker for key. We gave him food. Which key do you mean? The master key? The green aluminum Medeco key? The green brass Yale key? The green aluminum Yale key? The red aluminum Yale key? Or the help key? That's a funny joke. I hadn't realized before that they had different items for all those keys. The one you want is the master key. Fat chance, this is a master key. What have you done for me lately? Gave you funny bones, which I got from a kitchen like 30 seconds walk away. Open. We got a microwave. Let's microwave the Chinese food. Open oven. Put carton in oven. Close oven. Cook food. Most people cook things in ovens. Turn on oven. Nothing happens. This is no time set on yet. Set time. Use the word time in a way you do not understand. Look at oven. You fucking kidding me, Infocom? The microwave oven hangs over the kitchen counter. It has more complicated controls than your PC. There's an LED readout above the controls. The microwave is off, and it's closed. Press 5. The timer now reads 005. I'm going to cook this for 5 minutes. That might be too long. Press 0. The timer now reads 0:50. Press 0. I could have just done it again. Now it reads 5 minutes. Turn on oven. The microwave starts up. The timer begins counting down. The timer now reads 4 minutes. Time passes. The timer reads 3. Time passes. The timer reads 2. The timer reads 1. The microwave stops. Open oven. Get food. If you take it out, it will spill all over you. Why not take the carton instead? God damn you, Infocom. God damn you. Get carton. East, north. Give food to hacker. Serious food. Serious food. He plunges into the food. More food. He plunges into the food with all the delicacy and table manners of a shark at a feeding frenzy. Soon a satisfied expression appears on his face. Now, what was it you were wanting? He asks. Ask hacker for master key. It hardly seems like an even trade, but what is borrowing it, right? Well, I suppose I could loan you the master key for a while. Just don't get into trouble, okay? I'll find you later when I'm done with all this and get it back. He hands you the key. Now, for most of the game, pretty much all of the game, the hacker will be the only kind of normal person that we can see and interact with. We'll run into one of these urchin characters who basically wanders around and steals your items if you drop them. And there's one or two other things we'll be encountering along the way, which are more along the lines of deadly puzzles. But the hacker is pretty much the only other human. However, because he's an Infocom character, it's kind of irritating. It's like, you remember in Mind Forever Voyaging, when our wife would become like withdrawn from us after our son joined an evil cult, and eventually she would be dragged off to her death by the cult. But during the period where she was just like in the corner, kind of hugging herself and weeping because of the horrible things that had been happening, you could still kiss her and it would still go ooh la la because she's just an Infocom character and they're trying to make her realistic and it wasn't quite working. Yeah, that's sort of what we got. So that, no matter what kind of horrible, Lovecraftian horrors we encounter, the hacker's really not going to be able to interact with us in a realistic way. Because you would think this would turn into a buddy adventure where you and the hacker are trying to save the day. At any rate, we have the key now, so let's, I don't know, where do we want to go? We want to go south on the second floor. There's nothing to the east. We could press the up button and try to go to the top floor, except that I just typed button. Oops. button. The up arrow begins to glow. You hear the elevator begin moving. Wait. Time passes. The up arrow blinks off. The elevator door slides open. South into the elevator. This is a battered, rather dirty elevator. The fake wood walls are scratched and marred with graffiti. The elevator doors are open. To the right of the doors is an area with floor buttons B and 1 through 3. B1 up. An open button, a close button, a stop switch, and an alarm button. Below these is an access panel, which is closed. Open panel. Opening the panel reveals a flashlight. The elevator door slides closed. Get flashlight. Press open button. We got the flashlight, by the way. And go north. The elevator, you don't need to use the elevator, except there is a point where we will actually need the elevator for a puzzle. Because we get to a point where, well, I don't want to reveal exactly what's going on with it. But the elevator doesn't go anywhere where there's no stair access. So, although in real life using an elevator might seem like a way to save energy, in this game, using the elevator just means it's going to take more commands to do anything, because you have to press button, wait, enter the elevator, press floor button, wait, exit the elevator, instead of just doing up. So we're not actually going to use the elevator for regular transport. So let's go up to the third floor. This is the third floor of the computer center. An elevator and call button are on the south side of the hallway. Stairs also lead down to the energetic. To the north is a glass wall, beyond which you can see a computer room crammed with computer equipment. A stairway leads up. You can't actually go in there. That's just a glass wall. So I don't know what. It appears that there's an entire floor of this building, which just has like a glass wall with computer servers on the other side of it. Up. You push through the door to the roof. You enter the freezing, biting cold of the blizzard. Roof. This is the roof of the computer center. A door leads to the stairway. The roof is covered with tarred pea gravel and drifted snow. The wind howls around your ears. To the south and the southeast, you can dimly see the looming shapes of the Great Dome and the Brown Building. Other buildings of the school. There's nothing to actually do here, so let's go down. Now we're at the first floor of the computer center. Computer center. This is the lobby of the computer center. An elevator and call buttons are to the south. Stairs also lead up and down. For the energetic, to the north is Smith Street. North. Smith Street. Oh, sorry. You enter the freezing, biting cold of the blizzard. Smith Street. Smith Street runs east and west along the north side of the main campus area. At the moment, it is an Arctic wasteland of howling wind and drifting snow. On the other side of the street, barely visible, are the lidless eyes of streetlights. The street hasn't been plowed, or if it has been, it did no good. So we can go east or west, it looks like. If we go west, impenetrable snow blocks the street. Impenetrable snow drifts block the street. Bitter, bone-cracking cold assaults you continuously. The temperature and the blizzard conditions are both horrible. Save one. Let's just wait. I think you can die out here. You can feel the cold warming its way through your layers of clothing and biting into your flesh. You can no longer feel the tips of your fingers. As for your toes, they have long since ceased to report. Your eyes are icing up. Each breath you take is like swallowing knives. You are suffused with a warm, blissful numbness. It is marred only by the knowledge that before you wake again, you will die. You have died. At first, you think maybe it was all just a bad dream, but no such luck. It appears to be for real. That's too bad, although something gnawing on your nose thinks it's pretty wonderful, or at least fairly tasty. Your score is 10 out of a possible 100, and 110 moves, greater than the curve. You are in the class of sophomore, so let us restore 1. And we know now that we can die in the snow. That was our first death, folks. I think our first death is a good place to stop. I hope you're enjoying the true horror of the lurking horror. This is a game that, it was pretty scary by the standards of the old Infocom games. It could have been scary. It's the kind of thing where if they made a game like this now, it would have lots of spooky sound effects and scary narration. But I'm trying to do a straight play of it instead of attempting to do a spooky play. Because the only way I could do a spooky play would be to be doing spooky voices the entire time. Which would be a bit silly, since much of what you are doing is fairly mundane activities like microwaving Chinese food. Ooh. So, yeah. At any rate, folks, we're going to call it a video here. And when we come back, we got what we needed out of the hacker. We have the master key. We also should have... I I didn't bother to showcase it, but we have something in our inventory that you might find kind of interesting because remember how we passed out at our computer? Yeah. Let's think about that for next time, folks. I'm the Serious JG. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. And when we come back, we're our quest at this point is to get to the alchemy building and see if we can figure out if they've got our term paper. Because theoretically, our primary concern is still the term paper. But in fairness, no spoilers. The game's called The Lurking Horror. The cover art was like spooky as hell. And if you read any description of the game, including just looking at the back of the box, or you read through any of the fun stuff that they always included with these games, the manual and stuff like that, you would know that this game isn't really going to be about writing your term paper. So long for now, folks. I'll see you guys next time.